I was just thinking 1 point at a time because I think when you think it's 9-all or it's 10-9, I think you start to kind of crumble a little bit. But 1 point at a time, it helps. And at the end of the day, Iga's such.
Center court, the All England Club. The grass is immaculate. The roof is open, letting in the golden light of a perfect London afternoon. And 15,000 people are about to witness something that no one saw coming. Iga Swiatek, the defending champion, the six-time Grand Slam winner, the woman who, just 12 months ago, had walked off this same court as the first Polish champion in Wimbledon history. She had not lost a match on center court since. She was the overwhelming favorite. But standing across the net is a 21-year-old from Quezon City who has already beaten her before. A player who grew up hitting a tennis ball on a makeshift court painted over a basketball court. A player who, just 3 years ago, had been presented with her graduation diploma by the very woman she was about to face. Alexandra Eala, the number 29 seed. The first Filipina in history to be seeded at a Grand Slam. The world expects a routine victory for the champion. The script has already been written. The media is focused on Swiatek's quest for back-to-back titles. Nobody is talking about Eala, and that, my friends, is exactly when the unexpected happens. 7-6, 11-9, 6-2. A victory that sent shockwaves through the tennis world. A victory that made Eala the first player from the Philippines to reach the fourth round of a Grand Slam in the Open era, a feat that reduced her to tears on center court. She dropped to her knees and rolled onto her back on the hallowed grass, gesturing for more noise from the crowd. The defending champion had been dethroned, and the tennis world was left absolutely speechless. This is the story of that match. This is the story of how a 21-year-old from the Philippines walked onto center court and stunned the defending champion. This is the story of how Wimbledon erupted. Let's begin. To understand why this match mattered so much, you have to understand what Alexandra Eala had already achieved to get here. He arrived at Wimbledon as the number 29 seed, the first Filipina in history to earn a singles seed at a Grand Slam tournament. The pressure was immense. The expectations were enormous. But Eala had been here before. In the first round, she made history. She defeated Renata Zarazua 6-1, 6-2, becoming the first Filipino player to win a Wimbledon singles match in the Open era. The crowd on Court 12 was a sea of Filipino flags. Thousands of fans had traveled from across the globe, nurses from Birmingham, engineers from Berlin, students from Melbourne, families from Toronto, each one carrying a flag, each one chanting her name. Then came the second round. Maya Joint, the same player who had beaten Eala in the Eastbourne final the previous year, the same player who had just defeated Serena Williams in the first round. Eala lost the first set 3-6. The dream was slipping away. The fairy tale was about to end, but Eala refused to back down. She found her footing. She won the second set 6-2. She dominated the third 6-0. She reeled off the final 9 games of the match, 3-6, 6-2, 6-0. A comeback for the ages, a place in the third round, a showdown with the defending champion on center court. Before the match, Eala had spoken about the significance of returning to center court. "I hold Wimbledon very close to my heart," she said. She reflected on her growth since her first-round exit the previous year. "I was in a similar position last year. I think I was able to learn from that. I was able to go into this match with an improved mindset from last year." By reaching the third round, Eala had already secured the biggest prize money of her career. But she wasn't satisfied. She wanted more. She wanted center court. She wanted the defending champion, and she was about to get her wish. Center court. The first match of the day. The sun was shining. The crowd was electric. Eala walked onto the court wearing a white sun visor supplied by Nike, etched with a Tagalog phrase translating to, "Once it grows, it cannot be stopped." Swiatek struck first, breaking Eala's serve to take a 2-1 lead. The defending champion was in control, but Eala immediately broke back. The momentum swung back and forth in a riveting opening set that would last 84 minutes. Eala broke again for 5-3. She held her first set point, but Swiatek locked in, producing 3 consecutive forehand winners to escape and level at 5-5. The tiebreak was a thriller. Eala built a 5-2 lead. Swiatek fought back with a 4-point run to reach set point. Eala saved that with an unreturned serve. She saved another as Swiatek netted a forehand. Finally, on her 4th set point, Eala sealed it as Swiatek mishit a forehand long, 7-6, 11-9. The crowd erupted. The impossible was becoming real. The second set was a statement. Eala pressed her foot to the floor. She raced to a 4-0 lead. Her left-handed angles repeatedly pulled Swiatek out of position. Swiatek's quality dipped in and out as she rescued one of the breaks and gave it away in the next game. The final point came on Eala's 3rd match point, a forehand winner that left the defending champion with no answers. 7-6, 11-9, 6-2. Alexandra Eala had done the unthinkable. Swiatek finished the match with 44 unforced errors, 5 double faults, and just 1 ace. Her title defense was over. No woman has successfully defended the singles title at Wimbledon since Serena Williams in 2016. The crowd on center court was a sea of Filipino flags. Thousands of fans had traveled from across the globe, each one carrying a flag, each one chanting her name. Eala dropped to her knees and rolled onto her back on center court. She gestured for more noise from the crowd, and then she dedicated the victory to her younger self. I went to train every day after school with my ruffled socks, light-up shoes, and chubby cheeks. To younger me, this is everything, she said. It is incredible to have my countrymen cheering me on, knowing that we are all in this together. This goes out to them, my family, and all the girls with ruffled socks and chubby cheeks. It means the world. Swiatek, gracious in defeat, acknowledged Eala's performance. Alexandra was more brave in important moments, she said. It's tough for me to accept my missed returns from the slow serves. It's such a different rhythm. I think it was tougher mentally for me to accept these missed returns from the slow serves, Swiatek admitted. But the tennis world had already made up its mind. This was one of the biggest upsets in modern Wimbledon history. Eala's victory made her the first player from the Philippines to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam in the Open era. She is now 7-4 against top 10 opponents, including 3-0 on grass this season. She also improved to 2-1 against Świątek. The victory over Świątek was not just a win, it was a full-circle moment, a story that began 3 years ago at the Rafa Nadal Academy. In June 2023, and 17-year-old Eala was presented with her graduation diploma from the Rafael Nadal Tennis Academy by none other than Iga Swiatek herself. The Pole was world number 1 and had just won her 3rd French Open title. She told the players assembled in front of her that she hoped they would give 100% to whatever they did in the future. "I hope you will be tenacious," Świątek had said. "I hope no matter what you do in the future years, if you're going to do it the best way possible, I'm sure you'll have no regrets at the end." Eala took those words to heart, and 3 years later she stood on center court having beaten the woman who had spoken them. Maybe for someone like Iga, who's won so many slams, this achievement may seem small, but for someone who grew up in the Philippines, I went to train with my brother and my grandfather every day after school, with my ruffled socks and light-up shoes and chubby cheeks. So to her, this is everything, Eala said. Obviously, because I'm emotional does not mean I'm satisfied. So next round? Eala's victory over Świątek was not just a win, it was a statement, a declaration that she had arrived. She became the first player from the Philippines to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam in the Open era. She is now 7-4 against top 10 opponents, including 3-0 on grass this season. But the victory was about more than rankings. It was about belief. It was about validation. It was about showing the world that a 21-year-old from a country with no grass court tradition could conquer the biggest stage in the sport. "I did not grow up on grass in the Philippines," Eala said. "I grew up on a court that was painted over a basketball court. There would be basketball hoops, so I couldn't really step back a lot, because then I would hit the basketball hoop." That dream was becoming a reality. The Eala effect had transcended the sport. She was no longer just a tennis player. She was a movement, a symbol of hope, a symbol of what is possible when you refuse to give up. Eala's next challenge will be against number 13 seed Jasmine Paolini in the fourth round. She has beaten Paolini once before in the Dubai second round earlier this year. Obviously, because I'm emotional does not mean I'm satisfied. So, next round, Eala said. The tennis world was watching. The fans were divided. The debate was raging. But one thing was certain. Alexandra Eala had arrived, and she was just getting started. And that, my friends, is how a 21-year-old from Quezon City walked onto center court and stunned the defending champion, Iga Swiatek, the six-time Grand Slam winner, the woman who had not lost a match on center court since she lifted the Venus Rosewater dish. But Eala was not afraid. She had beaten her before. She knew she could do it again. And she did. 44 unforced errors, 5 broken serves, a first-set tie-break that lasted 84 minutes, and a forehand winner that sent the defending champion crashing out before the second week. The crowd couldn't believe it. The tennis world was stunned. The Filipino fans were in tears, and Alexandra Eala had just written her name into tennis history. This is the rise of a phenomenon. This is the rewriting of history, and trust me, this is only the beginning.